Don't you dare say I'm gonna make it, 'cause I don't believe a word you say.
Alright, so welcome back, y'all. You know I'm Quan. I got a special guest returning with me, Rhaenyra Mac, and a new face, my dog, Hashira Diggs. How y'all both feeling?
Thank you for having me, brother.
Great, feeling great, You know, ready to get into our favorite show, or my favorite show for sure.
Upon this return, I'm gonna start with you first, Rhaenyra. Being a Game of Thrones fan for a while, how you feeling now that it's back in action with a new series?
I'm so excited. I can't even. The fact that you never know what's gonna happen on Game of Thrones, I'm excited the most about that because any little thing can mean anything. Anybody can switch on anybody. The suspense is already killing me. Okay.
But I'm anxious. I'm just ready to see how it's gonna play out. Cause I've just become such a fan of the show. It's crazy, bro. So I just know it's gonna take off for real. It might rival the original.
Obviously, we gotta start with the main character, Rhaenyra. So, what we've seen from her character dynamic, even though she's of royal blood, she really doesn't care to be in the whole realm thing. Because you literally seen her, she literally will fly on dragons. She'd rather be free exploring and stuff like that. But she actually understands how they're actually treated. Because even when the beginning of the episode where she saw her mother and she was like, you have thousands of servants tending to how the baby is, you need someone to tend to you. And that spoke volumes because they literally just saw her almost like as a machine, someone to just pump babies out when they didn't really give a damn about like how they were feeling. And she recognized her father only wanted like a male heir, and the fact that she was there the whole time, so you know that had to play a factor on her growing up with her, where she was like, that's all he ever wanted, and I've been here this whole time, like, what about me? So maybe at one point in time she did want to be queen or the next heir to the Iron Throne, but because she saw what her father wanted, that made her branch out and not want the throne anymore.
It's an interesting point that you made whenever you're talking about, because even in like the way that Games of Thrones, the way that they tie things in, like even just from her like picking at her nails, just like little things here and there, but how like even at the beginning, how they were foreshadowing already like this significant event that was about to take place at the end of the episode. Like again with, you know, her coming in and saying like, hey mom, like no one's checking on you, no one really cares about you. And then to see the way that all that kind of did a full circle, and in the end, I think that it kind of is another like foreshadowing of the type of leader that she's going to be.
He actually reminded me a lot of Arya, you know, because when she made that line, Mama said something about you're gonna be bearing children, and she was like, "I'd rather suit up and go to war too." Like, you know, that's not like her life, not for her. So I see a lot of potential in her. She's definitely already my favorite character. I'm not gonna lie, like. Her character development gonna be insane. I can tell.
I mean, she is already kind of like symbolic, I think, of Dany and it all too. Like she's definitely a leader at heart, even if she doesn't really fully, like even at the end of the episode when she was just standing there like fully equipped, like she was gonna, you know, run the shit. But you know, she has that in her, just like I feel like how Dany always had it in her, and then at the end, you know, we see where she just steps fully into it.
Oh yeah,
that's that part where she gave that dude that look. I think you mentioned it, Matt. When she gave that dude that look like you gonna take a knee, like bro was real. Like he didn't want to do that.
Like bend the knee.
She got that dog in her, bro. She got that dog in her for real.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah. Let me see here. Diggs said that girl had me thinking she was incestuous with her uncle. Then like the night. All in one episode. Wait, who you talking about, Rhaenyra?
Yeah, he is, and I agree 1,000%. I thought she had something going on with her uncle too. I thought she was a lesbian at first too, and I thought she was a knight. Like she did. I completely agree 1,000% with.
Yeah, and it's funny too because it wouldn't be too off with the Targaryen family. So
that's exactly what I was thinking. Exactly what I was thinking.
Moving on to the next character, Viserys. Still selfish and basically one-minded in terms of what he wanted, yes. However, for me to say he didn't care about any of it is kind of false, because you can still see, even when his wife was going into labor, he still was trying to get her help. One specific part at the end where he talked to Rhaenyra and he realized that, yo, you've been here this whole time and it doesn't really matter what these ancient laws were. You're my blood and we need to make some changes, which is why he had named her the next heir to the throne.
I wouldn't say he didn't care. I just don't think he cared enough about his wife, because he wanted an heir so bad. To the extent he went through, it was just inhumane. You know, like, I get it, but it's like, you know, after she pointed out all the children they lost, it's like, you got to think about what you're doing to her. Like, you're putting a lot of stress on her and her body, you know. So it's like, that's my one flaw with him. But I can tell he's a good, generous, kind king, of course. But he cared more about his lineage than his wife. That was my only
Well, but to back him, you know, I mean, obviously I'm not, you know, rooting for him killing his wife, but in his defense, he does sit on the most dangerous chair in the world.
That's true.
He has to make these kind of decisions at the end of the day, because everyone is looking to the head, anybody that sits on the throne whenever they feel like it. And so, you know, to him, it's just like, well, if I have a son here, I feel like he'd probably be better with like decision making. Then, you know, again, like tying it back into the end, whenever he told her, like, you've been sitting here in my face the whole time, really been showing me that you have what it takes.
Get into his brother Daemon Targaryen. I look at him now as the young, like a young brash version of probably someone today, just a little more savage. Because even though, like, when he took the city watch and he attacked all those people, I didn't hear about all the things that he did, all the things those people did. Because they said, like, somebody was a thief, someone was a rapist, and someone was a murderer. Now, could he have handled it better instead of trying to make it a public spectacle? Yes. However, I think he just handled things in his way, where he just doesn't understand that there's a way you do things.
And at the end of the day, if he had been on the council, instead of them always trying to reject him and put him in places like in solitary by himself, having, you know, the ropes, like learning the ropes of what it takes to be a king and decision making, then I don't think that he would have been that bad, because obviously, you know, kind of like how Blaze is pointing out with Otto, like the fact that you can see, like, he don't have the king's best interest at heart. Like, he sent his daughter to his room. He, like, these things like that are, I feel like it's just very much like self gain. Like, you're putting your own daughter at risk just so that you can whatever get some type of like notoriety in it. Like, if he would have been in that hand position instead, it kind of seemed like he would have protected the king a lot more. Like, I feel like he would have. Maybe he wouldn't have done it in the best way, because, you know, with that short temper, like Quan was talking about. But at the same time, you could tell that his interests are good.
The brother, like, to the end, he just saw what the king didn't want to see. He just called everything out, pretty much like what it was. Can't give him a pass for what he said about the baby that died when he was on that little whatever they was doing, that little brothel. It was going crazy.
Oh yeah.
You know what he said about that the baby was kind of out of pocket.
Does this mean that he's going to start a war though with them? Is my question too.
Honestly, it's a possibility, but I kind of like, because I actually wanted to get into that scene too, because after he was celebrating pretty much after the death of his sister-in-law and nephew, and Viserys had called him in and asked him if he said it. I guess, like I said, like, him being more immature, I don't think he actually thought about what he was saying, because Viserys was hurt, and he was like, instead of trying to be here to comfort me or your niece, you only cared that this was a come up for you. And like, he said, whores and lick spittles. Oh, by the way, if you don't know what lick spittle is, they basically calling you a kiss ass. Me personally, I wouldn't take that, but anyway. But anyway, what you said though is accurate though, because he literally said all you ever did was try to send me away or keep me like from whatever you're doing. when you know I'm probably the best option you have. Because even though he is hot-headed, I think when you have two people who could be on the same wavelength, whether they have opposite personalities or not, they could balance each other out.
That's very true.
Even when he brought up the Hand of the King, Otto, at first I thought, like, when they had gotten into their little spat, that they were just being petty, but then I realized, like, they were talking about what he did in the City Watch, and Otto just brought up his wife. And he responded appropriately because I was sitting there like, dog, why is that your business whether I'm at home with my wife or not? Like,
And did he steal her dragon at the end, right? That was her dragon, wasn't it?
yep, I think he took the dragon when Viserys sent him away. I can kind of understand where Daemon was coming from in terms of how he reacts to certain things, because it's almost like one of those, you poke me multiple times and then you get mad whenever I react. However, that doesn't necessarily justify, like, if you throw a pebble at me, that doesn't justify me slamming your head against the door.
Yeah.
So I can understand it. Yo, what up? Let's hold on 1 second. Blaze said Daemon kind of reminded me of how Ned saw the shady dealing going on in King's Landing but had no proof.
Wait, can we time out real quick and just do a little how they were talking about the ladies at the Vale? I'm sorry, but that
Let's do
tripped
it.
me out. I'm not gonna lie. Like when they were talking about how the ladies of the Vale are always ugly, and like whenever
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was tough. That was
yeah,
tough.
that because everybody knew that for Caitlyn, for her sister, they just knew she was ugly. Like
Yeah.
poor lady, like why are they ugly over there? I don't know. That's messed up. Like that's mean.
Yeah.
They've been ugly
You
for
know,
centuries. That's wild.
man. They be disrespecting the hell out of him because that man didn't even appreciate his wife. Who's your favorite character in this show so far?
What's her best friend's name?
Elysian.
Yeah, I feel like. Can I say though that character that they casted for her looks very similar to Euphoria's, the one who wrote the play about her sister. I
think
feel like her. I like her a lot. I feel like she has a lot of potential.
probably Rhaenyra. I'm not gonna lie to you. Just because I can see the potential. You know, what she's gonna become. Like I'm just anxious to see how she's gonna wreck shop with that. So, but you know, her just accepting everything without a fight, just like this is my duty. Like I like her already. She gonna be solid for real.
I would say definitely my favorite character is Rhaenyra so far too, because everything she's done and shown, especially with the freedom mindset that she has, will literally see her through because she knows how to organize and whatnot. She just doesn't want to. And now that she's on the throne, we can actually see the decision making that she'll have. What was y'all favorite moment from this episode?
When Daemon and Viserys was kind of talking about, kind of letting it all out on how he, how he cut for him and stuff like that, and he was like, "Your words cut me deep," or something like that. That was pretty solid. And just when Rhaenyra was, when he was talking to Rhaenyra in that room, and when she was getting crowned, like all that was just like my top. When she was getting crowned, it was just like, and the soundtrack for the show was just like, bro, oh man, like so. When everybody was just kind of pledging their loyalty to her, and old boy, I just can't get over when old boy was kind of hesitant to take the knee. It just kind of foreshadowed something with him, So it's like I feel like this gonna really take off. But that was definitely probably my top when she was getting crowned easily.
I would say, I don't know if it's because I'm rooting for my girl. I don't know. How do you say her name again?
Rhaenyra.
No. The other one, her best friend.
Elysian.
Elysian?
Yep, Elysian.
Yeah. Like whenever her dad sent her in there, and like obviously she was so terrified, but whenever she got in there, she like handled herself so well, like so like poised, and like when she like came in there, and in a way like you can tell like her courage really like outshined like the weight of the situation that her dad put her in.
Yeah.
And whenever she told him, this is coming from like the most fragile child that's like depicted in the show, and for her to come in there and say to him something like so encouraging and so courageous, like not caring that he was the king, and just to tell him like whenever this happened to my mom, I didn't want lies and stuff. I didn't want people to feed me this BS. Like, I wanted someone to tell me, like, they were just really sorry, that this is happening to me. And, like, for her to do that for him, I just felt like it was just so impactful.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And that was definitely powerful. You just reminded me of that because literally, I had said this after we watched. You have so many people who could try to be so eloquent, dress up fancy, speak as articulate, but they couldn't comprehend simple concepts like empathy. The moment was definitely when Viserys and Daemon had that moment because it saw more than just a king and a commander. It was basically a family dispute. It basically showed how that it doesn't really matter if you connected or not, that literally in that world you can be dispatched for like the mistakes that you make, whether you're too immature to realize them or whether you know what you're doing. But me, I have a feeling that that might come back to bite them, sending Daemon away, because y'all have heard the saying, don't make permanent decisions on temporary emotions. Like, cause while that was out of pocket, I have a feeling that they could have handled that like a lot better than just sending him away. How do you think y'all would fare in those times?
I mean, if we talking about like going into that world with what we know now, with our attitudes now,
Yeah, your whole mentality.
I would make it. I mean, it's like you literally got to be highborn to have a peaceful life. What's the odds of that?
That's true. Whenever you think about Dany and her life and everything that she had to like endure in order to get to her place, like with her having to with the Dothrakis, and her having that incident with Drogon, and at first not wanting to be there but being forced to be there. I think that I don't know. Like, if I was in her place, I don't think I'd be that strong. Like, I'd be like, no, somebody has to die. Like, that's just it. Like, someone
And
has
it's
to.
harder for you because with you being a woman,
exactly.
you know what I'm saying? You really gotta learn. You gonna have to know how to fight. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you.
That's
You
what
gotta know hands.
I could have three dragons, and I'd be alright. But yeah, no, yeah, I don't know. Like,
You have to learn
I don't
some
know if I
sword
could
play.
endure that just for the crown. I don't know, man. I want somebody, man. And then, I don't know.
Let me say everything I got now and the mentality that I can dive into. I will for sure could become the handily king or queen. Mainly, I'm gonna explain why. Like, because not only do I have the discernment to know how to move, so obviously I'm not just gonna say whatever and get executed, have my tongue cut out. But then I also know how to flip that and turn intelligence into something like, if we need a battle strategy or a way to end a fight quickly, then I'll say I'll for sure survive for like a good decade or two, unless they just try to say fuck what you talking about and they all come after me. Then
I mean, that's why it brings back to it. Kind of bring it back to, like I said, if you don't know people in that era, you what do you have? You don't have nobody. So it's like, people come and raid your village. What really can you do? You really got to be highborn, or be a hands, related to some kind of bloodline, because you're just a normal. There are nobodies out there. Like, I don't understand. It's hard to survive out there in that kind of time if you don't have no lineage or no bloodline to back you up. We'll never know until we really put to that test. We can. I'm just keeping it a buck out. I mean, I'm just saying, like, if we using our imaginations and we get put in there, you know what I'm saying, in that heat of the moment, could we really act and survive through somebody right in my village? It's tough.
Let's see here. Blaze said, "Handed the king too much work, Juan. You gotta backstab and more stuff." Honestly, with the mentality that I have now, I feel like I'm already operating where it's a lot of work. Like, if you have a mouthpiece, whether it's in like any generation, you probably can survive good if you know how to control it.
Anybody could be in line for the throne. Like, that's why it's the Game of Thrones, because everyone is trying to play this game to sit on the throne, no matter where they're coming from. Winterfell, don't matter if they're coming from the Vale, Like it doesn't matter. Everyone wants to be sitting on the freaking swords of throne, like the throne of swords. So, um, yeah, I don't think any 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 person that you decide to be in this realm does stands a 1% chance of making it. Doesn't matter who it is.
Cause I just be thinking of things. It's like random scenarios, like when I'm just around the house. So if you see me as like, hell, even if I get into a bad position like a cupbearer or something like that, if I detect anything like crazy, like let's say somebody gives like the king a dirty look, I'll literally go by there at night. I'll probably slip some poison in their wine, and then just act like I don't know what happened.
Man, on demon time,
Like,
man, that's crazy.
You
like
get away with it though. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah, this, yeah, this says let's say Sir Derek died in his sleep last night. Like, oh, for real? Like, I didn't know what happened.
Like you don't say.
What's your predictions for the next episode?
My prediction is that you can't predict it. I don't know. You never know.
That's solid. I'm not gonna lie. If I had to take a guess, I think we're just gonna kind of see Rhaenyra um, going through the motions, of just all this responsibility. We're kind of gonna see a lot of her now.
Definitely gonna see Rhaenyra like have a lot more responsibility. But then I also feel like we're gonna see Daemon land in a new place and actually plot something out, because you already know he's still feeling resentful for being sent away, but he got a dragon now. So
Yeah.
whatever happens, he's gonna be able to round up some people, because even though he's a hothead and brash, he knows how to command a group of soldiers. So
That's true.
it'll probably be nothing to round some more up. And Viserys, I think he's gonna take some more time to watch over Rhaenyra, because he realizes what happens. But I have a feeling that the council is kind of start showing more of the true colors, because I'm gonna be honest, Otto, while he likes him, there's something that's still kind of off, especially with that interaction with Daemon. Maybe it was just two people just arguing or whatever, but I could sense a slight like envy between him and Daemon. So I'm definitely watching out for the hand of the king, because I don't trust him. But hey, who can actually be trusted in Game of Thrones? Appreciate everybody who pulled up to the stream. Shout out to Lene for joining. Shout out to Lee Diggs. And until next time, stay strong and don't take what we say out of context. Peace and love.